Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dismiss to Doctor podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bria J. Today, I have a special guest that I'm so excited to share with you all. Please allow me to welcome to the podcast Dr. Kennedi Glover.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for
Yes.
having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I
Of
appreciate you
course.
taking the time on this day to just kind of sit down with me and share your story.
Of course. I appreciate you for thinking of me to be featured.
Yes. So I love to kind of open it up and just have you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Kennedi, Dr. Kennedi Glover. I am a new grad doctor of physical therapy. I work in the acute care setting. I've been practicing for about 6 months now, and I love it. It was rocky at first getting started, but now I'm 6 months in. I'm learning new stuff every day. And even outside of school, I've just really been, it feels good to finally be out of school and doing what we love and what we went to school so long to do. And every day I just think about how grateful I am.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing here in Chicago. I did take the Illinois boards. I may or may not. I think about dibbling and dabbling other places to see where I would want to practice. But for now, I've been practicing for about 6 months. And I'm enjoying it.
Yes. So Dr. Kennedi and I met when we both did our last clinical at the University of Chicago. So I just remember when she came through the doors, I was just like, yes, another Black girl. I was just so excited. And so that's kind of how we kind of grew our relationship. So I was just so grateful to just have someone else.
Yes.
And that looked like me that was just in the clinical.
And it was a great experience because like you said, there's not... at least me, I had never had, that was, like you said, that was our last clinical, and I had never been with another Black student yet, or another Black female that was studying physical therapy. So that was, like you said, it was good to see. Sometimes it's just, because we didn't even say too much. It was just heartwarming to be like, okay, cool. It's somebody else here with me doing the same thing. And I think you finished, a few weeks before me, because you graduated in April, I graduated in May. Yeah, it was fun. I think that, even just the small talks on lunch and listening to your story. So it's just like you said, it's cool to see everything finally come full circle for both of us.
Yes.
And the rewarding feeling that we both know for different reasons.
Yeah. Shout out to class of 2025.
I know. That's crazy. That was a year ago.
Yes. I remember we were texting. I'm like, that is so crazy that it was a year ago. And it's just so crazy that you even said wow, we're in this position and we have jobs. And it's just wow, I've been praying for this, working so hard for this my entire life.
Because you don't see it in the moment. I think we know it's coming.
Yeah.
We know we were working towards graduation. We were doing all the practicals and all the clinical hours for free and tired every day. So we knew graduation was coming, but I think now to actually be living in it and actually applying everything we learned, it's a great feeling. It's unexplainable. I always talk to my parents about it. And even when I told them I was coming to do the podcast, I was like, wow, this time last year we were studying for the boards.
Yes.
Last July we were getting ready to take the first round of the boards. And so it's just crazy. And in that moment, a year seems so far away, but it happened I feel like so much happened.
So much has happened in that 1 year.
It's crazy, but it's a good crazy. I'm very grateful for the journey that I went on.
Yeah, I want you to kind of start us off on how you chose physical therapy. How did that start?
I think most people have the standard I like to help people. Which is 100% true. My grandfather had Alzheimer's and he was in a nursing home, so he was getting physical therapy. So that was something that I always saw growing up. And then I think being in school and actually learning physical therapy and going through more than just the skill sets and the objective measures. I think that I really enjoy people relying on us to improve their quality of life and people coming in to trust you to get their family member back moving again, or even the little things like getting up and walking to the bathroom, whether that be, some people don't realize getting somebody walking again is crazy. And that's our job to do. And that's why we are doctors in that field, because it's not just getting somebody up to walk. It's so much more into it that goes into it. So I think when I think about obviously being skilled academically and knowing all the tests and measures and things like that, but the subjective portion of it as well, and people not really understanding how important physical therapy is. So I know that people like us, people that look like us, I know I think about wanting to represent for that as well, because it's doable. I know that it was intimidating. I didn't get into PT school the first time, but I didn't have a plan B, so my plan A kind of just had to work out. So I was like, I'm gonna take this gap year, I'm gonna reapply, and I'm gonna get into physical therapy school. And I knew that I wanted to do it, obviously, because of the experience with my grandfather. I know that there aren't a lot of people that look like us. And I know it always sounds cliche, but I wanted to do it because I want people to know that you can do it. No matter how hard it is, you can be a doctor and whatever you want to be. You can go to graduate school and succeed. And it was rough, obviously. I know for a while I was stuck between PT and OT. A lot of people don't know that part of it, but I was stuck between PT and OT. But physical therapy really just touched my heart in so many ways. Even if it's not a super successful session from a functional standpoint, now that I'm working, some people just appreciate you going in the room and being with them and thinking about them and stopping by to be with them, so I think that type of stuff touches my heart as well. And then just the opportunity to expand the field. Like, I think, like you were saying, like, there's so many more young people coming into the field, and I think that we can bring so much into physical therapy, even like what you're doing now, giving people the chance to tell their story and putting it out there. So I think when I think about why, there's so many reasons, but knowing that I'm improving somebody's quality of life at least by a little bit every single day.
And that's just such a blessing. I feel like movement, people just take it for granted. But it's such a blessing. I always tell people, I'm like, my favorite part of the job is like when I have patients who come in and they're in a wheelchair, they're not able to walk, and like seeing them walk out the door on their last day. Like,
you're emotional.
It's emotional. Like that feeling, even like now I'm getting chills, like that feeling never gets old. And I feel like that you have to have those moments with you so that you can continue in this field, because it's hard.
It is hard, and a lot of people talk about burnout very early. But I think, like you said, if you are in such a rewarding setting, and I think that's why it's so important to find a setting that you love. Even if it does take you bouncing around a little bit, because I find the acute care setting so rewarding. And I know some people have their opinions like, oh, but you don't get to see too much progress. And it's like, that's true, but I think I look at it from the perspective of, but we're the first people that get you in that acute setting, whether it's right after surgery, right after a fall, so that immediate hands-on part of it just really warms my heart, especially when people come back, or like when families are so appreciative, or when we send them right across the street to the inpatient rehab and you can kind of like read the notes and see how they're doing. It's a feeling that I feel like somebody would have to experience to
in order to
understand.
feel. And that's so crazy that you say that, because I feel like as a new grad, like working, I'd be tired. I'd be tired. And it's just so amazing, because I just feel like God works in mysterious ways, because I feel like in those moments where I'm like, oh, this is exhausted, I'm tired, I'm feeling burnt out, and I just like, how do I can keep going? And in those moments, I always get like a little, like a patient will bring me a card, or like they'll bring us some food, like a little reminder, like something that's just like, you made the difference in my journey, like something just so cute, and you're just like, oh my God, let me stop complaining. Like, I'm so grateful, and this is just such a blessing that I get to impact people's lives that way. So I completely understand. But I would want you to take us back to how applying to PT schools were. It sounds like you didn't get in the first time.
I did not. When I went into undergrad in 2017, I went in undeclared. I was a strict just health sciences major. I didn't have a specialty. So I was stuck between PT and OT. So my spring semester of freshman year, my advisor was like, I'm going to have you just take a pre-PT course. And we'll see how you do with that. And I ended up loving it. I loved how hands-on it was. I loved figuring out the wheelchair and, like doing the mock session. So I was like, okay, this is my jam. So I declared health science with the emphasis in physical therapy. So I graduated, I went into undergrad with college credit. So I only did 3.5 years of undergrad. Mm-hmm. So toward my last year, I started realizing like, okay, I got to apply to grad school. And Mizzou had a great physical therapy program. So in a perfect world, I was like, okay, I went here for undergrad. I took all the pre-PT courses. Yeah. I've been to CSM because I was super involved in Mizzou's PT school. So I did a lot of that stuff. So I applied and I didn't end up getting in. I remember I was so devastated. But at that time, I felt like I didn't really know too much about it. Like in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to just apply to grad school and call it a day. But I didn't know that, girl, you should have applied. This is competitive. Yeah. Like, this is a doctorate program. You should have applied to 5 or 6 schools, yeah. So I only applied to one. And I didn't get in, and I remember being so devastated because I had this journey in my head of like, oh, I'm going to finish undergrad in 3.5 years. I'm going to knock out this doctorate program, and I'm going to be set by 24. I'm going to be done by age 25. And that's not what happened. I ended up not getting in, and I took a gap year because, you only have that cycle to apply, like starting every September or something like that. Yeah. So I didn't have a choice. So then I took that time. I remember I graduated school 2020 in December during COVID. I didn't even get a graduation. Oh, wow. Yeah. So I spent that whole year applying to different schools. And then that's when I learned so much about the process, like how some PT schools require you to have different prereqs. And it was a bunch of classes I had to end up taking to be able to apply to certain schools. So I think I applied to about 4 or 5 schools, and I knew that I wanted to go closer to home because Mizzou was a little far, but I knew I wanted to do PT school closer to home. And I really liked NIU. It was pretty diverse at the time. The faculty was diverse. So that was like my number one. And I applied there. I took that journey. I worked. I built up my hours to be able to, like, I knew I'm like, okay, I didn't get in, so I'm going to use this time like to make the amazing PT school application. So I studied for the GRE. I took that a few times so I could keep improving my score. And I ended up getting into 4 out of 5 schools that I applied to. And NIU was my number one choice. And I got into NIU with a tuition waiver. So it was like, it was crazy because that journey was like, but like I said, I didn't have a plan B. Like, I didn't have any other career that I was super passionate about. So it wasn't like, okay, I'm going to just not get in it. Because then I'm like, okay, so Kennedi, what else you going to do? Like, well, So it was like I had to make this plan A work. And it did. It was a journey. But I always say I'm so grateful for that journey because I learned so much about myself. And it gave me time to perfect this application, And I got into the school that I wanted to get into, and I ended up loving my program. I ended up loving my cohort, and it was an amazing experience. And so in those moments when it did feel like, dang, you didn't get in, like, what am I going to do? I just always, like you said, like, I had so much faith in God, and I'm just so grateful that was my journey. That gap year ended up being one of the best things I did because I got to relax before I started such a rigorous program. I got to work. I got to spend time with family because you do get so disconnected when you get into those programs. So I think that was God kind of telling me to slow down. Like, I know you had this journey in your head, but I'm going to just take you on a little bit of a different route. And it is going to be better than what you think it is. And it was. I ended up loving my PT school experience.
And I love that you said that, like, you didn't have a plan B because I feel like a little bit when people plan for a plan B, it's they're hoping that plan A won't work. And that in itself is like putting that energy out there that this is not going to work. So I love that you said that, like, there's no plan B. Like, plan A is going to work.
And I was confident. I had faith. And I'm like, I'm going to get into somebody PT school. If it's next year, if it's 2 years, like, I know this is what I want to do. So I just got to do what I have to do to make that work. And that's what I did. And it worked.
Yeah. And I love your outlook on it as well. Because just like, there's so many just blessings that come in being redirected that like sometimes we take it for granted, and it's just like, oh, well, I should be done by this age, or I should be. It's just like we have to practice patience. Like it is okay that it didn't get done at this time, but at the end of the day, you're still gonna be a doctor. So what does it matter? You're gonna still age. Like what does it matter when
it's still gonna happen?
Yeah, it's still gonna happen. So it's just like I feel like we just live in such a time where social media is just like the forefront of everything, and so then people think like, oh, you need to get it done by this, and it's just like, no, like everyone is running their own race. I'm in my own lane. Like we just have to stop comparing ourselves to other people,
because that leads me into not passing that board exam when I graduated PT school. And it's like, I know myself. When I was taking that test, I knew. I was taking that test and I was like, I don't think I'm about to pass this test. I don't know why. It wasn't like me being negative. It wasn't me being anxious. I know myself. And I was like, for whatever reason, I feel like I'm not about to pass this test. But then a small part of me is like, everybody like, oh no, you always feel like that after the NPTE. So I'm like 50-50, but I'm like, nah, I know myself. And I think when I didn't pass the boards, again, it was a standard, like, you go to school for 3 years, you do this super hard doctorate program, you graduate, you take the boards 2 months later, boom. Now, and of course, naturally, I'm like, that's my plan, that's my journey. And that was not my journey. And originally, I was so devastated because, your classmates pass, you feel like you the only one that didn't pass. But one thing I will say that I realized is, and I'm not even sure if you know, there are so many people that do not pass that exam, but nobody talks about that. When I did not pass that exam, there was a community that I became a part of so many people that was on their 6th attempt, they very last attempt. So it's like, let me be grateful that this is only going to be my second time taking this, because there's some people that's on their 6th attempt and not going to be able to take it again. So I was so devastated. I remember I spent as soon as I graduated, I remember we talked about it. You asked me, like, are you going to have a party? Like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I think I'm going to just have the graduation party, like, knock it out, and then I'm going to spend the next 2 months studying. And that's what I did. And I will say a big mistake that I think I made is that I deprived myself of everything. I just told myself, like, you can't do this if you don't. So I wasn't living. I was just studying. I'm waking up studying from 8 to 8, studying from 9 to 9. And I think I just drained myself. And so when I took the test finally, it wasn't that I didn't know the material. I was tired. I was tired. I was so tired, like mentally drained. Like I just kept telling my mom, like, it just felt like my brain was just, like, I'm just taking a test, clicking answers. And the hard part was, like, naturally, we know the test we took. We know how hard that test is. So you got your family like, girl, you good. But we like, nah, you don't know that test I just took. That test was hard. Like, so it's like naturally you want to believe them. But so like my parents, like, they plan this trip to California. Like, we going to be in California when I get my test results. And this going to be a big celebration. Girl, we was in Palm Springs. I'm anxious. I didn't even enjoy the first 3 days of the trip because I was just like, I'm waiting on these test results. And a small part of me feels like I didn't pass. And so I opened the results. At that time, now they super nice about it and it say did not pass. When I opened it, it said failed in big red letters. So now they switched it over to did not pass.
Okay, so that's better.
It is, because when I saw that big red failed, I like crumbled, because I'm like, I was supposed to start this residency at University of Chicago. I was scheduled to start the inpatient acute care residency in August, but I just found that I failed on August 3rd. I'm supposed to start on August 18th. And again, like, my journey just got redirected, and it was devastating. And I don't know, I think some people may think about it. I was not embarrassed. I think I was just like, dang, like, I just kept telling my parents, like, I didn't want to have a story to tell. I didn't want this to be my journey. Like, I just wanted to be able to, like, and so I'm in this, like, why me? Like, why am I the one that had to not pass or whatever? But I think I sat in those feelings for all of, like, 2 days, because then it's like, okay, Kennedi, what you gonna do? You gotta, you're either gonna get up, you're gonna wait to the point where you don't even want to take the test no more.
Yeah.
Or you're going to give yourself a few days to be upset, cry it out, talk to who you need to talk to, and then you're going to re-register for this test in 2 weeks. And that's exactly what I did. I sat down, I made a plan, I got a tutor, and when I went in to take that next test, and it's so crazy how God worked, Bree, when I took that test, I was in the same room, in the same seats,
wow.
the exact same room, the exact same seat, the exact same proctor. And I was like, it's just so crazy how God worked, because it was like, that was my second chance. And then when I walked out, I'm like, I know I just passed that test.
Yeah.
I needed a break. Like, I don't know. And in the moment, I'm like, dang, like, God, you had to do me like that. Like, I had to not pass and not start work. But again, it's just one of those experiences that I'm so grateful for, because it's like, in that moment, I was so devastated. But naturally, it was like I was still in the boat. The boat was still rocking. It was just wavy.
Yeah.
And it was not the end of the world. Yeah. And now we're here. I'm working, happy. It's just, it was I don't know, originally I was like, I never want to tell this story. I don't want to capitalize off of that. But that was literally my journey. Yeah. And I think that, if I'm being honest, people appreciate you a little more when you got a story to tell. It makes you a little more credible when you give advice, because it's like, you can do it. Even if you get, like, delayed, not denied sounds so cliche, but it's so real.
Yeah, so true.
It's so true. And I don't know. I'm so grateful for that journey. And everybody was like, I didn't even know. Like, and I'm like, nobody knew.
Yeah.
It wasn't nothing to tell. Like, obviously my parents knew, my close friends knew, but nobody knew. I just took it to the chin, and I just put my head down, got back in the books, and did what I had to do. And I think, again, the hardest part is that when you're in school, nobody talks about not passing the test. People only talk about passing, and people only talk about the pass rate. Nobody talks about that there's a chance that everybody in this room is not going to pass. And I think that I learned, and if I could give any advice to anybody, that test has absolutely nothing to do with the type of student you were. It's a test that either you know how to take a test or you don't. Yeah. Because I know what type of student I was. I wasn't failing tests in PT school. I knew how to study. I knew how to sit down and lock in. But if anything, that's what I learned. It has nothing to do with who you are and what you were as a student. Because even then, like, I was very involved in NIU's program outside of academics. I was a graduate assistant. I did research. So it's like, that was the hard part of it. When you look at the, like, why me? Like, why it had to be, But I don't know. I learned so much. And whenever I think about my job, and like you said, whenever we have those moments when we're so tired, I just remember, like, this is where you wanted to be. This is that journey you went on. And this is why you went on that journey, to be here. The opportunities. And granted, it was hard starting work, because I felt so far removed after having to study for 6 months, as opposed to studying for 2.5 months and getting right back into working. So that was a little bit of a learning curve. But again, I think all of that shaped me into how I am right now. And it just naturally lets me know that if I do have some type of detour, there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
I literally love everything you said. And I feel like a lot of times students need to hear that, right? Because to your point, you're like, okay, I failed. What's next? Like, I can sit in this and I can soak in it and I can cry, but at some point you got to get up and you got to keep going. And that's so funny that you say that, because, like, in school, I would, like, set a timer, or I would set a time frame, and I would be like, okay, I'm gonna give myself this day. I'm gonna give myself this 30 minutes to just, like, cry it out. And just to, like, cry it out, get those emotions out of there. Cause, like, your emotions are valid, right? And so, but I was like, as soon as this timer goes off, or as soon as it's a new day, like, I gotta move past this. Like, there's no more dwelling in this. Like, why, what am I, like, what is that gonna do for me? So I love that you just had that mentality to just be like, okay, I'm on vacation. Like, I could still enjoy this vacation. Like, I'm still, like, you, even failing the NPTE, it's just like, you still graduated. You still are a doctor. Like, none of those things have changed. So I just love that you had that mentality. Like, okay, this detour is going to allow me to be a better physical therapist, a better provider for my patients. Like, I'm learning so many different lessons in this journey, and I feel like a lot of times people take that for granted, and they don't realize that, like, there's lessons that are meant to be learned in those redirections, and we don't we don't know them in the moment and we don't understand it, but we just have to have faith. And I just commend you for having faith in that journey, because a lot of people don't know. So like for the NPTE, you take it, I think it's offered 4 times a year. Yep. So you study for July. So the next time it's offered is in October.
Mm-hmm. The end of October.
Which is far.
So that's another reason I'm like, I gotta wait till October.
Yeah.
And it's the end of October. Granted, that was July to October came so fast, but like you said, in the moment, it feels so far away. And it's like, it could have been so much worse. When I was in those groups of people who are on their 6th attempt or on their 7th or 8th attempt, like appealing to take the test, that's where I'm like, okay, let me be great. Yeah, you can appeal. Some people was on their 10th, 11th attempt.
Wow.
But you have to pay to appeal every time.
I thought it was only 6 attempts.
No, ma'am. Okay. In certain states, I don't know that. I didn't know that, but you can appeal to just keep taking it.
Okay.
But again, that's why I was grateful, because I'm like, I could be in a situation where I've been trying to pass this test for 6 years. So it sucks right now, but it could be so much worse. And even then, I commend those people for still trying. Yeah. You know, I commend anybody for just still trying, because it's so easy to fail that test and be like, I'm just fall back. Because then you run out of material, you run out of So it's like, I don't know. I commend everybody in the field that we're in, because school is not easy.
It's not.
School is not easy. Even listening to your journey, school is not easy at all. So it's like, and I think people, when we talk about being doctors, and people don't want you to refer yourself as a doctor, but it's like, that's what we did.
That's what I earned.
That's what we worked for. That's what that was not easy. And so it's that I know that people reach out to me, even when I posted my video when I passed the test, and so many people, like after it went viral, everybody was messaging me like, what advice do you have? And it's like, I want to be able to do that and give advice and let everybody know that it's doable. Like that's the advice that I always give, no matter skin color, where you come from, what you do, what school you went to, it's doable. You can do it. And it's not easy, but nothing worth having comes easy. And so I feel like that's why we appreciate it so much more, because we knew it wasn't easy. And we knew what we went through and what we experienced. So sometimes when it feel like bragging to other people, it don't feel like bragging to us. You know? Like we don't feel like we like popping it, because it's like, this what we did, you know?
Yeah, and I love that you say that, because it's just like, we deserve this. Like we've earned every moment of it. So doctor is what it is.
That's literally what it is.
And that's so crazy, because like, do you introduce yourself as doctor?
Because I work in the hospital, I don't.
It's different. Okay.
Like granted, every patients think that every person in their room is a doctor or a nurse, but I do not, just because I don't want that conflict in the hospital setting, because there are doctors coming in every single day. But I do make it clear that I have a doctorate degree in physical therapy, regardless of who I'm talking to, or like I do introduce myself as a doctor of physical therapy. No, even if I'm at work or not. Granted, you sometimes I'm like, I'm a physical therapist, but we are, and but I think if we were in a different setting, then maybe. But
But I think that, to your point, like, it's important for us to do that, because it's putting respect on what we've earned. Like, we've earned this degree. We've done the hours.
And so many people don't know.
And so many people don't know.
They don't know that that's a doctorate degree.
And then some people don't even know the difference between DPT and an MD. It's like, both can be doctors. Like, having the doctorate title means you earned a doctorate degree, and people are so just like uneducated on that.
About that.
And so that kind of also frustrates me, because I feel like that is also holding us back as a profession. When I go into like my evals with all of my patients, I introduce myself as Dr. Bria Jackson.
I love that.
And I say, my name is Dr. Bria Jackson. I'll be your physical therapist today. You can call me Bria. You can call me Dr. Bria J. You can call me whatever you like. But that's the
who
title.
You are, yeah.
That's who I am.
That's what my title is.
And I feel like that puts respect on it.
I love that.
And it makes it known, because, a lot of people don't know. Like, even sometimes when I talk to patients, they're like, you have a doctorate degree?
Yes.
I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
These loans.
I'm not playing around in here.
It is a doctorate degree.
I love that.
It just upsets me sometimes when people don't give us the respect that we deserve, because there's just like so many different things that we do. Yes. That I just feel like get overlooked. So it's
For
just
sure.
it's hard sometimes.
But that's why we doing what we doing right now.
Yeah.
Putting it out there, letting people know that like that's what we did, and that's what we went through, and that's how we got to it, and that's how we ended up with the doctorate degree.
Yeah.
And that's why we're doctors, and I'm gonna keep paying to renew this license every year and keep working and keep growing.
No.
Yeah.
So I just thank you for sharing all of that, because it's not easy, and especially since would be a year since you failed it the first time. So what advice would you give besides like keep doing it? Like what did you change? It sounded like you got a tutor. Was there anything else? Just
I gave myself grace. Like I told you that first time, I did not. I didn't live. I just studied. I didn't do nice things for myself. If I did go out, I was guilty about it the whole time. I gave myself grace and I let myself relax, and I just made a plan and stuck to my plan. I did not compare my study schedule or try to change how I studied, comparing it to somebody else. I know how I learned, so I did what was best for me, and that was to get a tutor and express what I needed to that tutor, and we put together a plan, and I went through that. And then I just trusted myself. I trusted myself. I think the first time I took the test, a small part of me was preparing for the worst, just in case, so it wouldn't feel like too much of a letdown. But that second time, I just told myself, like, God giving me a second chance because he know you're going to pass. You just needed a little, just sit down, slow down. So that's what I did. I trusted myself. I gave myself positive affirmations every single day. But the biggest thing, I took a break from social media.
Yeah.
I took a break because, like you said, it's easy to get wrapped up into what everybody else is doing. So I took the breaks that I felt were needed for my mental. I trusted myself, and I stuck to my own plan. And even now when people reach out and ask me for advice, that's exactly what I tell them. Do what works for you. Figure out what you did the first time, what you think helped and what didn't, and change your plan from there, you know? And relax. I relaxed so much that second time. And that's why I was able to go into that second test with a clear mind and relaxing. And the only other thing I did, all I did was take practice tests. Because it wasn't the material the first time. I just needed to practice taking the test. Because that's what it was. It's a matter of, can you answer 225 questions in 5 hours?
Yeah, within that time.
So that's all I did. I took about 6 or 7 of them. I took one every week leading up to the test. So when I went in to take the final test, it just felt like I was taking another practice test, you know? So yeah, it sounds so cliche, but I relaxed. And that doesn't mean I didn't study, but I didn't put so much pressure on myself to just focus on the past. And it came, and I don't know what it feels like to pass the first time, but passing the second time felt so much better. It was so rewarding because like I knew what it took. I knew that I sat down and I changed what I needed to change. And so it was rewarding to see that just trusting myself and having faith in God worked for me.
Yeah, I love that you say that, because it's just like, I feel like a lot of times people go so hard on studying, study. And that was like the mistake I made in PT school that got me dismissed. Like I'm studying hours, and it's draining and draining. So I feel like a lot of times people don't talk about the mental capacity of also taking the exam and just how that can weigh on you. So I just want to say thank you so much for sharing that, because it's really important. Like some people think it's just the material, and it's just like, no, like you have to go into it with the mentality. You have to be taking care of yourself. Like self-care is very important.
Especially
like
during that time.
Yeah, and it's just like you can't neglect that. And so I think that this is such an amazing conversation, because there's people out there that are like preparing for the July coming up in 2 weeks. And it's just like, listen, like take that time. Like it's okay to go to the movies. It's okay to like
don't feel
enjoy
guilty.
the summer. Like you still have to live your life. But like it's important to study, but like don't forget about yourself and taking care of self. Like I'm such an advocate for self-care.
Me too. Yes.
Like you have to pour into yourself. You have to pour into yourself, and it's just like that shows up in your patience. So it's just like the lessons that you learned during that season, like that makes you Dr. Kennedy. Like that makes you exactly who you are. So I am just so grateful that you were just able to share your story and your journey with us.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful for this experience. This is actually my first time telling my story to people besides my parents or people that experienced it with me. So I really hope that it does reach the right audience and people get a good glimpse of the conversation and just know that it's doable.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard, but it's doable, and we know how rewarding it is. So I just really hope that even if whether it's PT or not, to just keep going so you can feel the reward of and the success of all your hard work.
Yes. So as we wrap up, I would love for you to share like your socials with everyone in case they have any questions. You know, they got 2 weeks.
Reach out. Yes, 2 weeks. Good luck to everybody that's prepping for the July exam.
Yes.
My Instagram is Ken's Barbie 2X with the _. And I don't use Twitter too much. You can reach out on there, but it's also Ken's Barbie, a capital K and a capital B.
Okay, I'll be sure to like include it in the description.
Of course. Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
I appreciate it so much.
Yes. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
And thank you to everyone for tuning into this episode of Dismissed to Doctor. I am so grateful to have you all for another episode. Please be sure to share this with someone who is maybe taking the July NPTE or even prepping for October or any future NPTE exam. This is definitely very beneficial. So definitely send it to someone who may need this conversation and may need to hear these things. So I'm so grateful for you all for tuning into this episode. And until next time, thank you. Bye.